Wednesday afternoon, 1 o'clock here on the East Coast at least. Hope you all are doing well. Currently live on YouTube and Instagram, and wanted to show you guys a preview of all the things that, not all the things, give you a preview of some of the things that will be available on my sale here, starting for Patreon members. Their sale, a preview of 24 hours. They get to shop 24 hours before everybody else. The people at certain tiers of my Patreon, they get to shop then. So they'll get, their access starts at 6 p.m. today, and the sale for everyone else starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. So, hey everybody, over there on Instagram, people saying hi, and here on YouTube. So anyway, I just want to give you guys a preview. There's lots of variety. We had a great firing this last firing, and I have already done a show in Hickory, and then I did my in-person kiln opening sale about a week and a half ago, I think it was. But anyway, so and had great turnout for that. Met a lot of people that came from a pretty good distance just to come to Seagrove or to come to my shop, and it was really great to meet everyone that was able to come out. So if you came out, thank you for coming and supporting us, and it was nice to meet people in person. But we are going to I'm going to show you some of the stuff that we unloaded that is still available, that has been photographed. I'm still in the middle of creating listings, so I've got, like I said, I got another 5 hours before it goes live for the Patreon members. But anyway, so as always, we have coffee mugs. So one of my classic favorites as far as a color and glaze combination, that has the iron slip, my soft blue, and then a natural wood ash glaze. The bottom salt glaze. Oh, that's a number 12. Look at that. I picked one out that's a number 12. I must have photographed that, and it's a number 12, not a number 13. Look at that. Okay. Nobody's perfect, including me. So there you go. There's a number 13. So I'll have to go back and check and make sure that, and that's number 12 listing on that as well. So I'll have to remember that. Joel, yeah, you're wondering if I do classes like Patrick Swayze. Yeah, well, you're already telling your age, Joel, because all these young people out here don't know who even Patrick Swayze is and what you mean by that comment. But anyway, no, I don't do classes like that, but I have done classes. All right, here's a new combination that I tried out this firing. This is my Foundry Hill Cream Celadon glaze, and then I sprayed a Alberta Slip blue ash glaze over top of that. Looks pretty neat. You get less of the salt glaze when I do that, but I think that's pretty cool. It's something I tried for the very first time. I used my white glaze like a slip. So I thickened up some of my white glaze and used it in a slip bottle to do some decoration. And so I have 2 of these mugs. That's all I have left is 2 as far as this shape and this size. With this design on them. So I did like kind of a butterfly bush or flower design on those. I did some others. I did a few. I had a custom order for some like soup bowl / coffee mugs this size, and so I did the same kind of. They had brought me a piece that had a similar design to this that they wanted to see if I could duplicate. So that's what inspired me to do this with my white glaze. And this one has the Foundry Hill Cream Celadon on the inside, but I do have a couple of these with the white glaze on the inside as well. But that I really loved how those turned out, and enjoyed that using that white glaze that way. So here's a 13 that is done with the red slip and soft blue and natural wood ash glaze on that one. So like I said, I have lots of mugs. I have a few side fired twisted mugs, and so if you've seen my video on twisted mugs, this is one of those twisted mugs that I did for this last firing. They all have a trimmed foot. They all, like I said, all the ones I have listed were side fired, which means they were sitting in the kiln like this. So they sat on a singular wad like this, which creates that bare spot, and also gives a place for the atmosphere to change around that. You can kind of see on this side it got really heavy salt effect, and on the back side there's some really cool reduction and kind of flashing there. That just comes from the flame moving around the pots like that. That bubble there is actually from the glaze coming out from the inside, and you can see the glaze also puddles kind of on that side where it was sitting on the side. So I have some of those I have a few twisted bowls. I know I did a live stream leading up to this last firing where I threw some twisted bowls. This one started to rip on the rim when I was throwing it, but I decided to keep it because I thought it was like really organic. The fact that the rim was like really off, you know, and rough looking. And when it started to rip, I was like, you know, I'm just going to leave that. And so that's one of those twisted bowls that I did during my live stream. I have, this is the first for me. I did a twisted jug. So this one was faceted and then twisted, and then I left enough clay at the top that I could pinch that back in and make a jug top on it and put a handle on it. And so that will be, there's only one of those. It's a little weighty, in my opinion. The weight on that is it's heavy, but that's because of all that I tried to do in one piece there. I have a couple of these as well. I did some, instead of twisting these, I just faceted some like tumblers, or they could be a small vase. I'm definitely going to be doing more of these. I think that looks really cool, especially the way the light catches it as you turn it or as you look around it. So I've got a couple of those. I have several different styles. Well, for me, several different styles of small vases. I don't get a chance to make a lot of small vases, but I think that's something I should start doing more of. But there's a small skinny neck, like a bottle vase, that's going to be available. Here's like an egg-shaped vase, a small one that I have. So there's probably a half a dozen or so of small vases that are going to be available in this restock. Like I said, all numbered with number 13 on the bottom. And let's see. One of my other things I did on the live stream was a beehive pot. So like I said, these are, this is not a new design. This is a kind of my version of a really old design that I know JB Cole Pottery did back in the days. One of the first shops that I worked at, but they did some vases like this that were like a beehive shape. So they have all these, and I just threw it as a round piece and then did those bumps on it like that, and then fluted the top. So I've got a couple of those. I have some birdhouses, and these will have sticks in them. I don't have the, oh, here they are. So I have little local North Carolina twigs that we're going to stick in there. So that'll be the perch in all of these birdhouses. So I have them. They do have drain holes on the side, on the bottom. So if water gets in there, it will naturally drain. We have a birdhouse very similar to this in our yard, and the bluebirds are always in it every year. And people always ask, well, do you ever clean it out? I've never had to clean ours out, and it's been in this yard. Well, my in-laws had it before me, and they never cleaned it out, and I've never cleaned it out. So I don't think the birds really mind. At least the ones in my yard don't. So here's another one, another different design there. That's that red slip and soft blue and ash glaze on that one. So these are all wired with a stainless steel leader wire, like I do my hanging planters. And so that is a wire that will not wear out over time. But if you want to switch that out for some kind of a thicker wire or copper wire, you're welcome to do that when you get it. But they are already wired up. Let's see. I'm going to have some jars. I've got a few jars, two different designs. I've got the designs with the lids that have the gallery in the lid, so the lid fits inside the pot and over the rim. And then I've got others that have the gallery in the jar, so the lid sits down inside. But I got a few jars in this restock. I have some planters in this one. I did quite a few planters in this last firing, of course, being springtime. And I have some with the trays attached. So my smaller ones like this, with the tray attached to the bottom that's built into it. So those have two drain holes down in the bottom on each side. So there's a couple examples of what those look like. And that was a new slip design that I did as well. I did that on a few things, and I really like the way that turned out. So I'll be doing more of that as well. And then I have some medium planters. So these planters are like a 3-pound planter. So I make these, I just throw these with a hole in the bottom, and they will come with a separate tray like this. So you can then just set them in the tray and move them around together. But the larger ones, it gets harder to make the shape that I want if I do the tray attached. But so these all, like I said, have separate trays. I have some larger planters, but I didn't list any of those. It's really difficult to ship large items. Here's another example of a kind of like one of the medium planters that I make. and that will be in this restock. There's a good probably 10 or 12 this size, and probably a good 8 or 10 smaller planters available. I have some side fired jugs, so I did these squared bottles, I should say, and side fired these. So these were sitting in the kiln like this, and so I had bricks down here with the wads that were supporting the pot here, and these two spots down here. And so this one actually was covered in white slip. Then I put a blue ash glaze on the top, and then I also put light blue or dark blue glass on here as well, and that melted down around, and all that kind of combined together to form all of that was happening. You can see those little glass drips are 3D there on the bottom. You know, they stick out from the bottom, but that way you get drips kind of coming from all different directions. So I have 3 or 4 of these that are available, all different kind of looks on those. Squared bottles. I have a few platter bowls. So these are the peacock platter bowls that I make. So this is one from this last firing that turned out really nice. I love when I can get the combination of like the really glossy finish over here, and then kind of like a semi-matte finish on other parts of the surface. So that's a really sweet combination. That only happens in like very specific rare spots inside the kiln. So I have some vases this size, which I would be kind of like a medium vase, like a 10 to 12 inch tall vase. This one, make most of these in 2 sections. So that's like one of the 2-part vases, if you've ever seen one of my videos on those. But I've got a handful of those in this restock as well, in different colors. This is the only one that has 3 handles, which I started doing that again. I really like doing the 3 handles on those. Those are a lot of fun. I have just a couple, maybe 4 or so of these larger vases. Like I said, the shipping on these is really a pain on my end, and it's really expensive probably on your end. But I like to offer a couple larger vases just in case somebody is looking for something larger. But this combination on this one is the first time I've ever tried this. I did my white glaze on this first, and then I dipped green tea from Mako on top of the white. And I don't know if you can see it here, but you can see like the crystallization that happened there, and then how the glaze changes from like that teal to like a seafoam green, and then back to like some blue, and then back to the crystallization. So that's a pretty sweet piece. And then this had my rutile ash glaze that I sprayed around the belly there. So there's a couple of those larger vases. I have 2 face jugs left. I know a lot of people are probably interested in the cabin jugs. Well, I made 8 of those, and we unloaded the kiln on Tuesday. I went to the show that Friday. Between Friday, Saturday, I was sold out of them. So I don't have a single cabin jug left. I'll be making more. I have one that I made that I'm going to fire in my gas kiln, but I don't have any for this. And I have 2 face jugs left out of all the face jugs I made. So these 2 will be listed on the website as well, as long as, Patreons get the first shot at those. But this is Happy Herman from fire number 13. And then one other one that's a little bit larger. This is Wilbur. So Wilbur, he's got his tongue sticking out there as well. So these both just had ash glaze sprayed on the top of them. So that's an ash glaze that I sprayed on the top to get a little extra ash and the drips coming down. I love to see that on these pieces. And then the bottom was just the raw salt glaze. So let's see, is there anything I didn't show you that's sitting here on the table? I don't think so. So yeah, so just to clarify, in case anybody's wondering, this video is a preview of what's going to be available on the website. The preview sale that I mentioned for patrons on my Patreon website, that those Patreon members get a 24-hour access at certain levels. There's different tiers that you can sign up on Patreon. For the people that have signed up on my Patreon to the correct levels and above, they get a 24-hour preview or 24-hour ahead time frame ahead to purchase items before it opens up to everybody else. So that's what that is. So if you're interested in any of that on YouTube, all the links are in my description to my website, to my Patreon and all that. But if you just go to my website, that's where the sale's going to be. But starting at 6 o'clock tonight, the website will be closed, and it'll be password protected for all the members of my Patreon to get on and shop for that 24-hour period before it opens up to everybody else. So if you go to my website from 6 p.m. tonight to 6 p.m. tomorrow, you're going to just be confronted with a page that asks for a password and you can't get in. So don't worry. If you're not signed up on Patreon, it's fine. There's going to be plenty of pots left starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. But that's when everything else it'll be opened up to everybody else at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, which is Thursday. And that's Eastern Standard Time. But Patreon members starting at the $12 and up, those get a 24-hour access starting today at 6 o'clock. So just to let you all know, that's what that was. I had a comment on Instagram that I looked at just before I started, and they were like confused about why there was a preview now, but then a preview today at 6 and Patreon, and they didn't. And I get it. Yeah, it's sometimes the lingo gets all confusing. So sorry about that if there was any confusion, but this is a preview of what is going to be available. And starting at 6 tonight is the preview sale for Patreon members, and then tomorrow at 6 is the sale for everybody else. Hopefully that makes sense. It makes sense in my brain, but that doesn't always mean it makes sense to anybody else. Yeah, I think that's it. So there are, let's see, I do have some bowls, some other vases. I couldn't grab everything off the rack. I just wanted to show you kind of a sampling of what was going to be available. But there's definitely some serving bowls. There's my apple pie for 2 baking dishes that will be available. And then there's plenty of other vases in varying sizes. And like I said, lots of coffee mugs. I know there's like probably at least 50 different listings for coffee mugs, and there's multiples of some of those. So there's probably a good 70 or so coffee mugs that are going to be available. And like I said, the sale will go for about a week. And then anything that's not sold, I just remove from the website and put it back on the shelf, because I don't keep a packing and shipping department going while I'm not doing an online sale. I just can't manage all that. So, but yeah, usually I keep everything up for about a week, and then whatever doesn't sell, I just put back on the shelf. So, but if you're interested in a preview sale, that starts today at 6 if you're a Patreon member. And if not, tomorrow at 6, you'll get access to whatever's left. And yeah, for about a week after that, you'll get access to the online sale. And after that, I don't know when the next sale will be, but I know I'm going to probably be wood firing again in August. And so shortly after that, I'll be doing another wood fire sale or another online sale. Hey, Aaron Ellis over there on Instagram, who helps me fire my wood kiln. So anyway, is there any questions? Let's see. Thank you for the nice comments, everybody. But if anybody has any questions, let me know. If not, I think we're good. I've showed you guys a little mixture of what's going to be available. And thank you guys for being here. And yeah, I got to get back to work making listings. That's my least favorite part of all this is took 900 photos on Monday of all the pieces. So if that tells you how much, but I mean, there's about 7 or 8 photos of each piece or collection of pieces. So yeah, it's going to be 140 some listings. So anyway, thank you all for your support, and I appreciate all the comments, feedback, and support when I've met you in person and you purchase. So it really helps. Obviously, it really helps because it's what I do for a living. But thank you guys, and I hope you have a great day. I don't see any questions or comments, so we're going to sign off, and I'll get back to work. So, all right, you guys have a great one, and we'll talk to you soon. If you missed this or just coming in now, you can go back and watch the full preview, the last 10 or 15 minutes that I did the preview. So, all right, you guys have a great day. We'll see you soon.